Understand the strict rule governing modules and learn how to export multiple variables from a single file. Let's look at an example of how you can export and import multiple independent variables at the same time, assuming the files are running safely hosted on a web server. You cannot test JavaScript modules by simply double-clicking an HTML. In a traditional development, let's say you have a file store on your computer desktop, and I want to see if I can get an example, and that example I'm talking about is something that maybe you have a file that is saved as an HTML. So I want to use this particular file I'm using for this training. I think I have it on desktop, JavaScript. Okay, good. Now, if you look at the index.html, which I think is inside the JS expression. Now, I want to enlarge this. So if you look at this file now, if I double click it, this is going to open a Chrome browser and display the content of the HTML file for me. But for JavaScript, you can see that the design or the look of the file icon is grayed out, which means that you cannot test JavaScript module by simply double clicking its file on your computer's desktop or in any other location where it is stored. So, and the reason is for security reasons, because browsers strictly require modules to be served through a local or live web server using the HTTP or HTTPS protocol. So without a server, the browser will block your import. So to confirm this to you, if I double click this now, let's see what is going to happen. I'm sure this should just pop up something you can see. So it's asking me that which of the app do I want to use to open this type of file, because it cannot be opened by double clicking it, unlike if you have it as an HTML. But if it is an HTML file, you can see it's already showing me in Chrome. So if I double click this, then it will just show me the content of my HTML file. And that is the reason why that is the reason why modules can only be accessed through a local or a live web server. So let's look at how we can now export multiple variables in a file. So I have a couple of instructions here on how to go about it. Make a new file in person.js, export function, name age from it, import the file inside HTML and use the function, then display the result. So let's go inside this and then make that. Ideally, I made a mistake here. We are not working with function. We want to export variables and not function, and use the variables. So I'll go ahead and make the person.js inside the root folder, person.js. And now I should have my JavaScript file. So inside this JavaScript file, I'm just going to add a simple comments, multiple individual constants. So I will just this should be a comment. So it's a comment actually. So I'll just go ahead and make the first variable and call the name whatever, JC or anything, and then I will make the second one to be H, and this time around I'm going to say 65 years, because this is a string. That is the reason for the double quote, and this is the number. It doesn't need either a single or double quote. So I need these two variables, so I'm just going to append export to them so that I'll be able to use them in another file. So now that I have it, I will return back to my base file, which is my index.html. And the first thing to do is, since I want to import a module, I first need to change the type here, script type to module. So I can then go ahead safely and import this. Import The same way that you used to import a function, it's the same way you import variable from person.js. But this is not going to work because my person.js is the root folder, so I need to append another single dot to it in order to locate it. And now that I have it inside my base file, so I can just go ahead and say document.get elements by id demo.inner html equals to name message. Now you can see GSA is 65 years old. Now look at what we just uh, did in this example. You can see that without the serving of that file over a local or live web server, it wouldn't have been possible to extract the variable from it. And so this is a typical example of a server requirement when it comes to doing multiple exports in your code. So modern browser security rules cause explicitly block local files from fetching or importing other local files directly from your hard drive. So this is one of a security protection for files when it comes to working with your, computer. And for this export, you can see that you do not really need a new line for every variable. So just separate your requested import with a comma inside the curly braces. You can see. So if you have 50, 20 of each, you just separate them with comma. You don't need a new line for each import from the place where you are exporting your code. So you can now see that if you check our URL here, you can see that this is being served over a server, and that server is a local server. As you can see, it's 127.0.0.1.5501. So this is the server. So assuming you have it in the usual way you used to see HTML, like file slash see the location and blah blah blah, it wouldn't have worked. But because we are serving this over a live server, and how am I serving it over a live server? I'm using an extension called live server. So that is what I'm using to serve my file so that I'll be able to access the content that I have inside of it. So notice how we're exporting both a string and a number from a person JS file. So when we import them inside our HTML, we just group them together inside the curly braces, which is what we have here. And remember, if you try to open this HTML file directly from your folder without running your local server environment first, the browser console will immediately light up with a red security error. So, now I want to ask that why does JavaScript block modules from running the file protocol as against the HTTP or HTTPS protocol? It's because of security. So it prevents malicious websites from reading random files of your local hard drive. And you can see that exporting this multiple variable also makes our code to look clean and how do I put it? It makes our code clean, and it also makes it modular in the sense that we don't have everything jam-packed in one place or everything placed on, a single file. So we have it splitted into another file where we can just call what we need from that file. So this is another advantage of modules in JavaScript.